woman, and a woman with a big accent, a minority, no education whatsoever. So I have all the odds playing against me.
Welcome to Utah Stories. Today on the program, we share another Faces of Utah profile. This is the profile of the Salsa Queen. Thank you so much for joining me, Salsa Queen.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah,
Yes.
We've been trying to get you on for a while, and I'm so
love
glad
to share
you made
the
the time.
story, so thank you.
Yeah, and I love profiling, especially immigrant, first-generation immigrant success stories. I just was digging through a bunch of my grandpa's old papers, and this is the receipt for my great-grandparents who came across the Atlantic Ocean from Armenia to through Ellis Island to become American citizens, to escape the Turkish genocide that was going on over there. And it's, whether people come here for asylum or to seek, better fortune from the country that they left. It's amazing to profile amazing immigrants who really worked hard to realize the American dream. And I think you really epitomize that story. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with us.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And so, boy, where do we begin? So how can you describe your childhood a little bit, how you grew up and what
yes.
motivated you?
I mean, I grew up in Monterrey, Mexico, Monterrey, so it was pretty close to the border. So I was very exposed to the American TV. American lifestyle a little bit. So I remember since I was little, my dream was to be here. I always wanted to be here. I would watch the movies and be like, I want to be there. And, I'm here now. Like, what are the chances, right? That when I truly believe in manifestation, when you really want something, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And
so how did you get here? How did you originally immigrate?
My kids think that I came in a boat, but I mean, it's just a little river, so there's no boat coming here. I actually came with my parents and my siblings when I was 17. So I was kind of like an adult now, almost an adult, and my siblings were smaller. They were a lot younger than me. And so we drove here. We came here with visas just to visit, but we kind of overstayed. And it was kind of getting harder, the life in Mexico for my parents. And they were actually Mormons too. So they wanted to be here, give us a better life, and have us closer to the church, which is kind of interesting. I grew up Mormon in Mexico, which is kind of unheard of, a lot of people don't know that. But yeah, so we came here to America, and it was a totally life changer. Not in a good way at the beginning. I was very happy to be here, but when you come to America, you come to hustle. Mm-hmm. You don't come here and, a lot of people have that thought that once you move to America, all of a sudden you are making tons of money. But if you do, you're working for it really hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that first-generation immigrants are very much aware of that. Unfortunately, as the generations progress, I think the kids get less aware of that. So I'm very fascinated by my great-grandparents because my great-grandpa dug ditches until he died. And he died very young at age 45. Oh. And he had 7 kids with my great-grandma in about the span of about 15, 18 years. And but to work tooth and nail, scraping by, just getting enough money to put food on the table, just doing anything you possibly can to make it work. I guess you're familiar with that.
Very much. When we moved here, my parents were the ones that they had to go to work, and I would stay behind and take care of my siblings. And funny story, like I always forget about this, but my parents for a while, they actually work as smiths oh, how do you say it? They work like after hours. So at midnight, they will go and they will clean up and they will get paid with cheese that it had expired, milk that it had expired, vegetables that were bruised. I mean, they will come home with a garbage bag full of bread. And what we would do, we just cut the green part of the cheese and eat the rest. And funny, to me, what's funny is that once they help us, now I'm a vendor, you know. So now my product is there, like what, 34 years later,
Wow.
like things change, right? My parents are not longer working there, so they could provide some food for us from the store. Now I'm selling my product as
Yeah.
Smith's,
Wow.
at Kroger's, which is like, oh my gosh, like the world really turns around however you want it to turn.
Yeah. So do you attribute what you've succeeded, your success, to more hard work, more luck, or more like manifestation like you describe? How does somebody go literally from rags to riches or success?
Yeah, I mean, I used to live in Magna. I love Magna. That's my hood. And that's where all my kids were born. And when I came to America, I didn't have the opportunity to finish high school. So I had no high school diploma. You know, my English is so bad in a way. You know, my
That's good
accent is
now.
so strong, but I love it. It sets me apart. You know, I'm a salsa queen, and it comes with the accent and the energy and the sassiness and all. But we were very poor at one time. You know, I got married. It was a pretty bad marriage. I live out of food stamps, Medicaid, the church, food bank. And for as grateful as I am for that, I didn't come here for that. You know, I was embarrassed to go pay with a food stamp. And I was like, this wasn't my dream. I didn't come here to America for that. And that wasn't a lifestyle that I wanted to teach my 7 kids. And it was kind of heading that way. So after my second divorce, I was lucky enough to meet my now husband, Jim. And he is a dreamer. He is an inspiration in my life, and he's my hero. So when I met him, he asked me, "What would you like to do?" And I was like, nobody had ever asked me that. I mean, growing up in Mexico, the culture is very abusive mentally, emotionally, physically, verbally. So I thought that I was worth nothing. I had no talents. I had nothing. So when he asked me that, I was like, wait, I can do something? Like, you believe that I can do something? So after that, I ran with that. I was like, okay, somebody's believing in me. I'm going to believe in myself. That's all it took. He was a great mentor for me. And he wanted me to do something else with food because he knew I love cooking. But at the end of the day, I came to him and I said, you know what? I wanna make something that speaks my culture, my language, something that I feel comfortable that I can sell. So I want to make salsas. And he was like, okay, salsas it is. And we started selling them out of Facebook. And then we will say that we were like the salsa dealers. So people will put in their orders and we will go meet in parking lots with clients and,
Yeah.
exchange money for salsa. And then we started doing farmers markets. I think that's when everything, that's when my vision started. So farmers market was our first one, and it was Wheeler Farm Farmers Market, and I love that market. Actually, we're going there this Sunday, and I remember I got already the logo. All of my kids were wearing the swag, everything, My mentor at the time was Jorge Fierro. You know who Jorge Fierro is, right?
Yeah.
And he said, only take 50 salsas because if you don't sell more, at least you won't feel bad. But I took 100 and I should have taken more
Wow.
because in 2 hours we were sold out. I remember having those $500 in my hand and looking at Jim, my husband now, and and thinking, I can make a living out of this. Like I have never had that much money in my hand that I had made. So it was such a proud, humble moment for me. So then, we started doing farmers markets probably for a couple of years. And then Jim, he's the instigator. He was like, what if you were in stores? And I was like, you're crazy. And then I was like, yeah, why not?
And
So
how were you producing these salsas for the farmers market initially?
I was doing it in my house.
Just in your house.
In my house, I was
Yeah.
packaging it, I was making it, everything. And my kids were helping me sell it. So it was
Okay.
a whole family affair. So we got into stores, some local stores, and I was doing still everything with my kids. I was packaging, I was making it. I tell people,
And they were helpful. They were actually not just sitting there.
no,
like,
they were.
watching.
I was cracking the whip. I was like, yeah, like we have to put food on the table, we have to pay bills, and we
That's
all need to
great.
help.
That's awesome.
Like sometimes their friends will come to the house, and I will make them work too.
Is that something that was instilled in you as a young person? Were you helping when you were growing up with the family, chores, business, whatever, around the house?
I was helping a lot as the oldest daughter, and then when we moved to America, I, I I had to step it up and take care of my siblings, send them to school, cook for them. I mean, anything. And in Mexico, the culture is like you're heavily involved in the family.
Mhm.
So I was thrown in the kitchen since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
But previous that, I was already making tacos out of mud and leaves, So I already knew how to fold a burrito by the time I was 5.
Nice.
And so, I love cooking. That's a passion of mine. I love creating. And food brings people together. And that's how I show my love to people. If you come to my house and I cook for you, I love you. This is my way to tell you that I love you.
Yeah.
And so cooking has always been part of me. So being able to create these recipes and being able to bring happiness into the people and smiles, I mean,
Yeah.
what else can I ask for?
Hmm. My wife's like that. She expresses her love through food and cooking too.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing because when people come over, they feel so welcomed when you cook a home cooked meal,
Yeah.
and you can taste the effort was put into it. And
100%. And when I started making the salsas, I remember that if I was in a bad mood, I would taste the batch and I was like, oh, I could taste the bad energy or whatever mood I was in. I would have to throw everything away, shake it off, and restart again. So I am a true believer that when you make things with love, whatever it is, it shows. And that's why it's very important for me to have a team now that makes my salsas that they're happy.
Yeah.
Because if they're happy, it shows in the product.
Yeah. And for our, budding entrepreneurs or people who are interested in sort of the business side of things,
Don't do it. Just kidding.
there's too many salsas already.
No, not even that. It's
Yeah.
like just a part of the business.
It is way harder than people realize. I watched these people come out of the farmers markets, and that was the majority of our content in the first 4 years of Utah Stories was farmers market success stories, and it is so grueling and difficult that I think a lot of people just don't realize how the supply chain, you got to have everything right there then and fresh, ready to go. You got to make it the night before. You got to make all your customers happy in one bad batch. And like you say, it's like, that's it. They're not going to try again.
That's it. That's only takes one bad batch. So when I go to the farmers market, it's so hard for me not to buy from everybody because I want to keep supporting that because I've been there. I know how it is. So when, like the other day, I went to get peaches, and there was this kid, young kid. He was probably 17, and he was selling lemonade, and nobody was buying it. And I turned around immediately, and I'm like, "What do you have here?" Because I want him to feel special. I want him to feel support. I want him to feel like he's going to make it. I want to give people hope. And that's where my salsa and my story tags along. When people locally buy my salsas, they're not buying the salsa, they're buying the dream. They're buying the hope. They're buying the American dream that if she did it, so can I.
Yeah, that's great. And so when you were going and making the decision to go from farmers market to stores, can you describe the jump that you had to take and the huge risk you had to take at that point to grow the business?
Oh my gosh, I remember this time. This is kind of like a good story. And it's all trial and error, right? So I was making these salsas, and I wanted to bring something sweet into the table. So I came up with a mango pineapple that it was fresh. And it was spoiling really fast. And they kicked me out of the store. They said, "Get out. No more. Your product is spoiling too fast."
Just because of the one salsa?
Just that one salsa.
Even though the other ones were fine?
Even though the other ones were fine. So, but I had already been with them for a year, and I will go and sample that store. I'm talking Park City, and I lived in Magna. So I will make that route in the winter, the summer, it didn't matter when, but I had to be there 3 times a week. I mean, I became part of like the family of the store. Everybody knew me. It was so fun. But after a year, they kicked me out because of that. And then I had to pay $600 back. I know that $600 doesn't sound very much, but when you have to support 7 kids and you're just starting, $600 is $6,000.
Yeah.
And so I had to repay them back. But the people loved me so much there, and they loved my product that they had to bring me back. They called me one day. They're like, "People keep asking for you, so we're going to have to bring you back." And I was so excited and so grateful.
Awesome.
So, consistency, right? Consistency is very important.
And you made a connection with those
and I
customers.
made connection with the customers, yeah.
So that was your first store?
That was my first store in Park City, and then I did some local stores here. And like when I tell people, like, to me, Salsa Queen, I take it very personal because I feel like I actually gave birth to these salsas. Like I was standing on my feet for 12 hours straight, making it, packaging it, labeling it, selling it, and everything, that my hips were bursting. So each one of these is a baby of mine. So when they ask me which one is your favorite, I'm like, they're all my children. So it's like, I love them all. They all have different stories, and they're part of me. Of my childhood, of my needs, of my.
Did you make creamy salsas like this growing up? Is that something that was part of the culture, or is that something you developed on your own?
That's a great question. I only grew up with one salsa that my mom will make. And every time I make that salsa, my kids are like, "Mom, if you were to make this salsa, you will be so rich." But it takes a lot to make a salsa in high volumes. So I had to create my own salsas. I wish I could be like, this comes from my grandma and these are all my creations. But that's one of the things that I love. I love to create, and they all have, like I said, a different story, a different purpose. Like the chile limon. This one, chile limon, is like, if you try it, it really like puckers your mouth. But I'm very described with the names, so you know what you're buying, right? Chile limon.
I don't think I've tried that one.
This is so good.
Is that new?
Yes. So we have 4 new ones, which is La Chingona, this one, Spicy Pico, La Chingona, Mexican Creamy Chimichurri, But I love this one because
Yeah,
it
that one's
represents me.
really spicy too.
Is La Chingona. It can be kind of a bad word in Mexico, depends how you use it, but it's a badass. And there's a lot of us out there that were badass. And so I wanted to name it like that, like the
Nice.
badass salsa.
That's
So
great.
it's been a lot of fun to be able to create all these recipes, but there's a lot of thought into it and a lot of how doable is it, how long is it going to stay in the shelf, how easy it is to produce, do we have all the ingredients in there, how many more ingredients do we have to bring, so it's very intense.
Yeah, and I went to your factory store, and
I call it my kitchen.
Yeah, your
my
kitchen. Yeah, and Jim gave us the tour, and there I think there were like about 6 or 8 ladies in there just working on one particular batch, but it looked like you got it just down to really well orchestrated. The ingredients show up, you process it, you produce it, you get it out. Is that process, was that a huge growing pain to go from like your kitchen to going to a kitchen and making it more like a factory?
100%, especially because we Latinos were very proud of our food and very proudful. So you don't trust anybody. Like I don't let my husband cook in the kitchen because he's not doing it right. I don't.
That's exactly like my wife.
And then if he turns around, I add something else. I tried and try to sneak in there. But you have to take a leap of faith. And I know Jim has helped me a lot, by mentoring me. But he was like, the day that you're not making the salsas, that's when you're gonna start becoming successful, because your worth is not your worth, but you're like it's not making the salsa.
Yeah, the highest and best use of your time.
Yeah, yours is something else, But so I had to trust people and train them very well to be able to make the salsas the way that I would make them. Mm-hmm. So it is big, and it comes with a lot of growing pains.
Yeah.
And of all kinds. I had a partner for a while, and I had to buy him out, and that was a pain because we couldn't see eye to eye. I think out of my whole journey, having a partner that we didn't have the same vision, it was one of the hardest and most painful times of my career.
Can you explain the difference between your visions, or do you?
Okay, so being a woman, and I don't know if you guys are gonna cut this or not because it can be a little bit controversial, but being in Utah and being a businesswoman, you get bombarded even more because of the culture of the Mormonism. And I'm not saying anything bad, but that's just how it is. Mm-hmm. The woman stays home, and the woman takes care of the kids. So the woman is a little bit more, doesn't play a bigger role, right? Mm-hmm. So the culture of that, and on top of being a woman, just period, a woman, and a woman with a big accent, a minority, no education whatsoever, so I have all the odds playing against me. So it is very hard to have a partner that had all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was more of a bother to him than a help. So I cried a lot. I think I ran out of tears then. So it was very painful in a lot of ways. So, but thank goodness we were able to buy him out and, continue with my vision and my purpose, which it is not just to bring people together through food, but inspire others.
Yeah. And I think I see a lot of businesses go through these ups and downs, and usually they are related to differing visions of partners involved. And when businesses go through this, did you see an immediate growth or just a bit of relief where you felt like now I can finally innovate and do what I want? Or had you already gone through a lot of growth
I
with the
mean, I
company?
have to say he helped me a lot in a lot of ways. Like I am not gonna take that away from him for as much as we couldn't work together. He did help me to get to a lot of other levels.
Yeah.
But it was nice to let him go and to continue with my vision and my purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so getting back to how your product has just really resonated with Utah consumers, especially, what did you find, that there was this huge demand for gourmet salsas in Utah, or is that something you feel like you created because you made the product?
I have a lot of answers for that. So I feel like my products are very innovative. I mean, we travel extensively to, for marketing purpose to see, what other salsas are out there. And I have never seen a brand with this many variety of very unique flavors. I'm not here to copycat anybody. I'm here to bring new products to my Utah people, especially,
Mm.
and I actually made them less spicy because we were in Utah. And so I wanted to cater to all of my Utah lovers and fans. But what was the question?
So do you think that willingness to try all these new flavors was sort of a
Oh,
demand that was already there, or do you think you created the demand by making the
I
product?
actually created a demand, and this is a funny story. So I was doing Park Silly Farmers Market. And the sales were okay. I wanted to bring a clean line, so I only had salsas. And I was doing all these clean salsas with no preservatives, which is still we do that. And but I thought, you know what? People really talk about how healthy they eat and blah blah blah. But when they go home, I'm sure they're eating a burger, a cheeseburger with ranch and whatever. So I thought, I'm gonna do something. This is gonna be a test and see how healthy really people and I
Mhm.
said they're still healthy. So then I came up with my creamy ones, which was the creamy chipotle, the creamy jalapeno, and this other salsa that I don't want to talk because who knows, I might bring it back eventually, but it was a hit. And as soon as I brought these new products that they were creamy, my sales went up 30%.
Oh wow.
So people were driving all the way from Salt Lake City, which obviously they do, but just to like stock up on the creamy ones. And I
Yeah.
was like, kaching, this is it. And so with my new line of salsas, I try to focus more on creamies,
Mhm.
on dips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. We get those in our fridge, and they are always the first to run out. It's
Yeah.
like my kids love them. They're just so, in beer terms, you call it sessionable. Like
I
you can just
love
eat
it.
it and eat it and eat it, and it tastes so good.
Some people used to complain, like, oh my gosh, why are they so small? Why can't I make them bigger? Well, dreams come true. Costco has them now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We always
In
get
the
the big one.
club side. But people will be like, you know what I do so my kids won't find it? They will put it in yogurt containers, like the plain yogurt containers. So the kids wouldn't touch that, so the parents could still enjoy it. So,
That's funny.
yeah.
Well, that's great. I think it's awesome. And so you signed on with Costco. Has it been over a year now that you've been with them?
Yeah, it's been a little bit over a year. I think it's been a couple of years already, and we're different regions right now. And
Yeah.
if you guys want to find out where we are, you guys can always go to our website at salsaqueen.com to see all our locations that we're in.
And so I got a friend who's been a manager at Costco for a long time,
Mm.
and he says that's kind of a make or break type situation. Like sometimes that will make you, but then other times it actually just breaks you because it's so demanding to fulfill these massive orders. Is that what you've kind of found, that you really had to go big to fulfill all that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Costco was just a dream. I never really thought that we could get into Costco because that's a whole different monster.
Mhm.
But it's been such a great experience. They're very easy to work with, and we have an amazing team. Like when people have come to our facility and they see the small team that we have in the small facility, my kitchen, that we have to fulfill all these orders, I tell my team that they're like the elves. Like they're just there and they're working and they can push so much product is incredible. But it is key to have a good team, a team that loves you, a team that believes in you, a team that wants you to do better. And every time I go in the back in the lunch room, they love seeing me. They're always complimenting me, and I love them. They're my family. I tell people, once you join Salsa Queen, you're not just joining a company, you're joining a family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so is it the Costco orders that dominate most of the production time, or is it pretty much split between
No
all of them?
comment. Ah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're constantly going to food expos. We go to uh, fancy food shows, all of that. It's a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of work. And that's when you expose your product for big vendors. Like, that's how we got Costco. That's how we got, which one is the other store that you said?
Harmon's?
No, it's in California. Oh,
Not Macy's or
Smart and Final, like, so you get
yeah.
a lot of exposure from other bigger companies, not just in Utah, but in other states. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of exposure, it's a lot of traveling, it's a lot of hustling, it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's like 24/7. You're thinking Salsa Queen. That's all I think.
Yeah.
And then a vacation, if
Yeah.
I can fit it in.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go on vacations. I think that's an important thing to step away.
It is.
Telling my wife that right now. We didn't go on our vacation either because
Yeah.
our dog got cancer and we had to deal
Oh,
with
I'm
that. But
sorry.
he's doing better now.
Oh,
and I'm
good.
glad we didn't go on the vacation because we
He's
dealt
a
with it.
family member.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is. And he's kind of the mascot of Utah Stories. He's been in probably more
Oh,
issues than anybody else. He's
cute.
probably been in
Fun.
10.
Can I be a mascot?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you a few other questions, but we'll take a little break
Okay.
and you can see if you want to answer because these ones weren't on the list of questions I gave you.
Let's do it.
yeah,
I'm
well-
always open for any questions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right
Are
back.
they going to be spicy?
Spicy questions.
Spicy questions.
All right, welcome back. We're talking to the Salsa Queen, and now I wanted to go into a lot of questions, or a question that a lot of business owners have who start really small. Do you need to go with a bank loan, mortgage your house, put everything on the line? Do you
Done
need
it
to take
all.
that? You've done all of that. Yeah, because it's like a lot of people either stay real small or they realize if they want to go big, they
You
got
gotta
to put
take
it
a
all
chance.
on the line. And
Yeah.
and you agree, you do. You just have to go for it, bite the bullet.
Sometimes you have to go for it. Sometimes there's no other way around, and sometimes you have to pay you have to pay the consequences for what you do, right? But you have to make that business survive. A lot of people ask me, and I even ask myself for the longest time, why me? Like there's so many people in the farmers market that they're trying to do what I'm doing, maybe different product. Why me? And it came down to I didn't have a plan B. I only had a plan A. And I put all of my eggs in there, including my house, including everything, because I had to make it happen. I was like, well, if this doesn't work out, then I'm going to be a nurse again or accounting. I had nothing. So, it was one of those things that I had to put everything on the line. Yes, and as a business owner, you have to take a big chance, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. You put your house, you get a second mortgage, you sometimes get expensive loans. One of the things that I haven't been wanted to do, but obviously now I'm open to it as you keep growing in a lot of different ways. Now equity, right? Because money sometimes is so expensive.
Mhm.
So you have to just do whatever you need to do at the moment to be able to keep the company going. And it's scary.
Mhm.
It's scary because if you lose your company, you lose everything.
Yeah. Wow.
Everything.
Yeah, and I keep hearing that over and over that you just you can't do the plan B, plan C, plan D.
No.
You just have to put in the work and you have to realize this is going to go, or then we come up with a plan B. And
Yeah.
so in your case, when you're making that jump from, I suppose you had a smaller commercial kitchen at some point. You weren't just going from your
Yeah.
kitchen to the place you're in now.
I've been bouncing around like a how do you say nomad?
Yeah.
A nomad. I've been all over the place, sharing kitchens, teeny tiny kitchens. I mean, I've been everywhere. So I just say that being a business owner is the biggest roller coaster you'll have in your life. But one of the things that I'm very grateful for is the ups and downs. Because if we were to stay up, I will be walking with a head like this, like, oh, I'm so cool, look at me. But because those downs, that's what keeps you humble.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very important in the journey of a business to have all of those, just to stay grounded, to remember where you came from.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for those moments. Do I want to stay higher most of the time? 100%. And hopefully, we'll get there. Everybody thinks that, oh, wow, you're a Costco, you made it. It's like, honey, the struggle continues until you sell the company. Once you sell the company, you can like, bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, I mean,
What are your goals? Are your goals to go get more stores, more territory all over the
definitely,
US?
yeah. I mean, I want everybody to have a piece of Salsa Queen in their mouth, in their families, and to be able to share it with their families. Like I said, like when you put a container right there, you get hungry,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And when you're sad, what do? You eat. When you're happy, you eat. I just feel like food is healing
Yeah.
in so many ways.
Your logo is super unique. Can you tell me how you came up with that?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the funny story, and then I'm going to go into a deeper story. So I remember Jim. Jim surprises me in so many ways. He's the one that say, "Hey, what about a sugar skull?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I like that." And let me tell you about the name first. He said, "What about Salsa Queen?" And I told him that's the stupidest, cheesiest, silliest name ever. There's no way. And then I went to a networking event, and they said, "And then why should we put you so we can remember your name?" And I was like, Salsa Queen. And now it's my name, right? I legally
Yeah.
changed my name to
Yeah.
Salsa Queen.
Mhm.
And so the sugar skull, when he mentioned that, my first baby, my firstborn, passed away from leukemia. And so the sugar skull in Mexico represents family, represents remembering our loved ones that they have passed away, which is Day of the Dead, which is becoming very popular in America now.
Yeah.
So when he said that, I fell in love with the idea of having the representation of my baby that is not here with us anymore, but he's still present with us. And this represents my family, my love, my culture.
That's very cool. That's great. Yeah, and I suppose when were you at the market before you had your name, or was that something that like did you go to the farmers market and know you were Salsa Queen at that point, or did that come later?
Well, we were always Salsa Queen from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
But when I start doing TV a lot and sharing recipes with people with my salsas, because my salsas go beyond a chip and a salsa. My salsas, you can incorporate them in any food. It can be Italian, it can be Chinese, it can be whatever you want it to be, just bring some spice to it. And so, what was the question?
Just if you had your logo and your name all figured out by the time you went to the
Yeah.
market.
So when I was doing it all by myself with my kids, um, everybody called me Salsa Queen. The Salsa Queen is here. The Salsa Queen is here. Hey, Salsa Queen. And so I thought, you know what? Nobody knows my name. I'm just going to change my name to Salsa Queen. So when I did my citizenship, I was there for an hour because I've been here for a long time before I did my citizenship. So I had a lot of crime. Just kidding. A lot of history in there. And so at the end of my interview, they said, so the last question, would you like to change your name? And I thought, am I going to do it or am I not going to do it? And I said, yes, I'm going to do it. He said, what's it going to be? I'm like, Salsa Queen. He said, it's going to be a lot of work. You have to change your passport. I didn't have one, so that was easy. Your passport, your bank accounts, everything. And I thought for a minute, I paused, and I said, what the heck? Let's do it.
Nice.
And I did it. And here I am, Salsa Queen.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was your name before?
Shh, it's a secret. It's a secret.
Okay, it's a secret.
But Salsa Queen has changed my life. Salsa Queen hasn't only changed my life, but my kids and my kids' kids.
And your kids work there, right?
Everything, yes.
So cool.
Yeah, they work there, but I came from nothing. I came from a very painful childhood, and I was able to change that. I was able to put a stop to that and change my journey and my kids' journey. So, like in Mexico, they say, sí se puede. Yes, you can. And, I kind of want to live with that we create our own lives. And I know sometimes we get so stuck on how we were brought up, but at the end of the day, we are the ones that decide how we want our life to look like. And this is how I want my life to look like. When I started Salsa Queen, I started a product to be able to provide for my family. And now I'm able to provide for other families, and that's something that I never thought that it was going to be possible. So to be able to create dreams for others and to be able to create jobs and opportunities. And when I talk to my team, I always say, you guys are here for a minute. I don't want you guys to be here forever. I want you guys to have your own dreams and chase them. And when people come to my kitchen and they're working there for a while, but they have their own dreams, I let them go with a lot of happiness in my heart because I can't wait for them to build their own dreams.
That's awesome.
So this is the American dream.
That's beautiful. That's great. Well, congratulations. I think
you
it's
so
awesome
much.
what you've done. Yeah, we saw you, I believe, first at the Wheeler Farm Market when you just barely got going, and your kids were there selling too. And
Yeah.
and then to go into your shop now, and your kids are there, they're working, they're
Yeah.
part of it, and it's great to see that.
So fun, like Jim gave me the opportunity and believed in me. So we want to give that back to other people. And there's people sometimes that they call me about that they want to make their own salsa. And sometimes my husband is like, no, don't talk to them. And I said, no, yes, I want to talk to them. I'm not going to give them phone numbers, but I want to share my experience with them because they need to learn. It's not the same when somebody gives you something that when you earn it.
Yeah.
But I'm here to help you. So if anybody wants to reach out to me that they have a product or something, I'm always there available to give you a little, how do you say it? Like inspiration on how it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah, well, it is the American dream fulfilled.
And in
it's
Mexico, they say there's sol for hay sol para todos. There's sunshine for everybody. So when the sun comes out, it's not only shining on you, it's shining on all of us. So there's plenty room for all of us to shine.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think when you visualize in what you want, in not in the short term, but longer term, you can very often make it happen. It's just realizing that there's a lot of work, a lot of struggle, a lot of hardship.
Necessity is the mother of all inventions, and
Yeah.
that's I can testify to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Salsa Queen, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for inviting me to be here. And thank you for the support, because we need this kind of support to be able to spread the love, the salsas, the inspiration, and the yes, you can.
Yeah, we love sharing it. We love
Yeah.
sharing these stories. And this was our first issue of Faces of Utah. This came out last fall, and we just came out with our current issue. This is our new issue of our fall issue this year. A lot of really amazing stories in here again, and people who've grown businesses, like guy who started Spitz. He's now got, I believe, 30 locations. Bryce Raidman. His first location was Los Angeles, but his home is in Utah. Story of Alan Boyer, who we've had on before. The amazing story of Taggy Farms. He was not a first generation. He was a first generation farmer, and he's now one of the biggest, most successful farmers in Utah. Just extremely inspirational with their family. And yeah, so pick up your copy of Faces of Utah. It's going to be available in a few high-end locations, such as the Whole Foods in Park City and all the high-end hotels in Salt Lake. But if you'd like to get it delivered to your home, go visit utahstories.com. You'll see the option there to subscribe to both Utah Stories magazine and Faces of Utah magazine, and you'll support our local journalism, which we really do want to present the very best of local Utah, these success stories, these inspirational stories, because I feel strongly that the social fabric is not made up of national Wall Street traded chain stores. It's made up of locally owned businesses, people who have dreams, people who are working to fulfill their dreams. So we support very much the farmers markets. We support very much the local grocery stores that carry locally made products. And for that reason, we've started the magazine, started Faces, and do what we do. So even if you don't subscribe to the magazine, go out to utahstories.com, subscribe to our free digital newsletter, and we'll send you the voices of local Utah every single week. And the Salsa Queen is one of those stories that's going to be delivered very soon. So, all right. And thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving.